fighters. We're going to fight to the end. This is just the beginning.
For you to get this first win in this fashion, how special is this?
It ain't about me. It's about these guys. They've been putting in all this hard work. People doubting them. People left the game early, not thinking we were going to pull it out, but they just kept fighting. So this is about them, guys. It ain't about me.
The fight of this team, how special is this?
It's special, and it's just the beginning. We're going to fight to the end. That's all you can do. Control your effort, control your attitude. That's what these kids do each and every day. Super proud of them.
Congrats, Coach.
Thank you. Woo, boy. Play the game. Okay.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to HBCU Game Day. This is the Road Warriors. I am SJG, and got a whole slew of the guys today. So we appreciate everybody for tuning in. Go ahead, wherever you guys are, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Please make sure that you guys hit us up and and show us some love. Shout out to our guy Emmett Jones, who's always the first in the chat on all of our shows. We definitely appreciate you, Emmett. You the real MVP. All right, guys. So let's look at it. Yesterday, Saturday, September 13th. First off, how's everybody feeling, man? We were all running around like chickens with our head cuts off at some point in the day. Check in with everybody. Cobi, you were at Del State. How you feeling, man? No rain, right?
Nah, no rain. Beautiful, beautiful day to play football.
Sunny days, man. Everybody loves them. But
yeah.
You stand the rain? I'm sorry. All right. I got the album in here somewhere. Don't make me pull it out. Yeah, and I'm gonna tell Josh what the album is. Vaughn, what's going on? I know you know what an album is. Spinning on the ones and twos.
Absolutely.
Don't come here cussing on the chat. What's up, Vaughn?
I got plenty of albums. I got crates of albums, old-fashioned crates, old-fashioned DJ. So yeah, we got to show our younger guys how we used to do it. You know how to show them young bucks how a player used to do it.
I ain't that young, man. I ain't that young.
There you go. Oh, he done pulled out the Dennis Edwards classic.
Just two randoms, and this is these guys. They were a little bit ahead of me, but
the boys,
they're like Kobe's age, you know.
You got Steve proving his unk status.
Baby up, but I'm gonna show you Unk got ups in a little bit later, but we'll get to that. But appreciate everybody for tuning in. And Josh, you were at one of the most dramatic games of the night, because we also had a dramatic one in Duval. I'll let you go over there and hang out with the Aggies this week. Have fun, have it that. Yeah, man. How you feeling after last night, man?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. Crazy game, crazy atmosphere. Well, didn't last long, but crazy game, crazy atmosphere. Definitely
where them fans at?
And I'll definitely be back out there next week. Next week, I'm glad that they won because it's just gonna make this whole week a lot more better. Like it makes it actually interesting. So yeah, it was good.
I agree. And you did say that you're high on the NCATs, and they did take care of business.
You know, I'm not gonna brag too much. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't gonna say nothing about it, but I said it last week. I
told us last week.
I called it last week. Y'all called me crazy. Y'all said whatever drugs, whatever stuff he on, I need it. Comes to find out, y'all actually do need it because I was right and y'all was wrong. But we ain't gonna do too much. I'm not on drugs. I don't do drugs, but I ain't gonna say too much. But yeah, it was a great game. Definitely a fun game.
We'll get to them. They won the game. You know, it's two teams that both of their last wins were against Division II teams. So. You know, that kind of where it was, but a big comeback. It did look like it was going to be over. We'll get to that in a second. But first off, let's start off down in Florida. We had Vaughn. I know you kind of had split allegiances. You were in one place and you had your guy out another place. Two big games there, both featuring SIAC opponents. But, you know, FAMU took care of business against Albany State. Talk about this game, what it was like down there. You know, it seemed like they were giving y'all the push. They were giving FAMU the push.
First off, let's talk about the game atmosphere. It was almost sold out. It was literally an almost sold out. You know how Bragg is. So when it's almost sold out, it's rocking because particularly because Albany State brought a lot of fans. It's only like 80 miles from Tallahassee, so buses, the band, cheerleaders, Royal Court. It was a real great HBCU atmosphere. FAMU unveiled, which they never told anybody that they had redone the LED lights until somebody scored a touchdown, and freaked the noise when they unveiled that orange and green light show was crazy. You can see the videos. Everybody caught it on their phone, and then they kept it off extended period of time so people could put the lights on their phone, kind of like a concert. It was really rocking last night. But Quinn Gray, Albany State Rams came and punched FAMU straight in the mouth. Let me tell you, Quinn Gray has injected into Isaiah Knowles, his quarterback, the old Billy Joe Gulf Coast style. I wouldn't call the offense the Gulf Coast style, the Gulf of Mexico style. I'll just make sure I get that in. Anyway, the old Gulf Coast style offense into Albany State. Isaiah Knowles ran it to a T, kept FAMU on their heels, scored first. It was just up and down, basically a no-huddle offense, unheard of. But Isaiah Knowles is a transfer from the Naval Academy, so that tells you a lot about his intellect. But his skills match that, and they really punched FAMU in the mouth at the end of the first half. Everybody was like, FAMU did get on the scoreboard, but they were behind, and everybody was like, what in the heck is going on here in Bragg? But then you got these FAMU faithful. I mean, they were in pregame, everybody just calling Quinn to come over and dap him up and take a photo with him, and some people were actually coming down on the field. Quinn is a favorite son of FAMU, so I know he wanted to win this game, no doubt. He talked to me after the game. He did an exclusive interview with us, which we'll have on HBCU game day soon with Quinn Gray and Isaiah Knowles. And the first thing he said to me, man, if I had one more possession. I mean, FAMU literally won by 8 points. It was not a runway. FAMU did grow up. R.J. Johnson, the guy that's Cosi selected as the starting quarterback, he emerged. And some receivers emerged. But defensively, FAMU literally did not have an answer for Quinn Gray's offense, except for, the defense got stout right in the last part of the fourth quarter. Close game, great battle of the bands at halftime, cheerleaders, Royal Courts. It was just an amazing HBCU football game atmosphere. Plus, they announced at the third quarter, Right. Albany State kicker really did not help them at all during the game with that quote, just missing extra points and field goals and short field goals and that sort of thing. It could have been a different outcome, but just the great atmosphere, to see all of those elements come together at Bragg Stadium. The last time the Rattlers were there, Mississippi Valley State had defeated them and broke the home streak. So at least Coach Cosi got that monkey off his back. But in 2 weeks, Andrew Body and those Hornets come in. And if we thought they had trouble stopping Quinn Gray's offense with Isaiah Knowles, Eddie Robinson and Andrew Body is going to be a whole different subject.
Nah, man, good stuff there for sure, Vaughn. And one other thing you didn't mention, but I will mention, I know that was going on in Bragg. My guy B-Dot was down there again, second year, man, and I'm sure he had a ball with those lights. We unveiled some lights as well at WSSU. Y'all got last year we shared him. Now he's completely y'all's, man. I feel a way about it. Get your money, B-Dot. Get your money, B-Dot, man.
Listen, B-Dot is our guy, man. He's ingrained in the culture now. And so he on those game days, he is a big part of it. He can get the students riled up. He can get the alumni riled up, the visiting team, recognizes everybody in the stands. Got to say something about Bragg that I think it was Charles Bishop came the first time that FAMU was playing the SWAC championship, came to Bragg. He was like, it's a shame that this is my first time really experiencing Bragg because the experience is crazy. The guy, Jeff Walker, that does the video, I mean, it looks like he has 20 cameras. I mean, they'll be in the student section, then they'll be in the visitor section, and everything's going up on the screen. So the game day experience is off the charts. And it was just a great HBC. And then they announced they unveiled a homecoming concert last night. And I happened to be standing next to Albany State cheerleaders, and they were going bananas. Listen, I like the people that SJG held up on the album covers. Those are the kind of concerts I would go to. But I do know Boss Man D-Lo. That's my guy. I love Boss Man D-Lo. They got Lotto coming. They got Party Next Door coming. They got Boosie coming. FAMU homecoming. I'm missing somebody that my daughter said.
G Herbo.
G Herbo, that's him. So they unveiled that during the third quarter. So the place went crazy. Albany State cheerleaders was every one that they announced, they was going crazy. And I heard them making arrangements to come back down for a FAMU homecoming concert. So it was lit in there last night.
Okay. I'm just gonna go with whatever Josh you say. I'm gonna go with it. With it. You know.
Listen, now some people may come back me with this, but so far that lineup is better than G-Ho's lineup. I mean, they got a great lineup.
You just coming off the rope early, man. Like
I'm just being honest. I'm just gonna call a spade from me being a young guy, you know, the youngest on the team, the youngest on the HBCU game day staff. I gotta keep y'all updated. And that set that they have, G Herbo, Party Next Door, Boosie, Bossman D-Lo, and Mulatto. I mean, they went 5 for 5. That's an amazing. Like, I don't blame the Albany State cheerleaders. I'm trying to sneak my way down there myself.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm gonna take y'all's word for that right there. Definitely. So we have let's see. I did want to pull out the scores for this weekend just so we can and this is a feature that is on HBCUGameDay.com, but you can also get it on our app. So yeah, thank you. So we have which Wiley has done. So we had Benedict over Central State, and all of this stuff comes directly from your neighborhood sports information director. So if it's wrong, take it up with them, but it's 99.9% right there at this point. Most folks have updated. Howard beating Morehouse 38-10. No, that was close. I think it was 17-10 in the third quarter. Shaw, brand new program, Ferrum got the win, brand new Division II program. Bowie State, we'll talk about that in a little bit with Cobi. They caught that L. They caught them hornet hands, maybe literally and figuratively the way that DeSean Jackson was talking about it. Johnson C. Smith sneaks out of Elizabeth City with a dub. So, you know, they got the big win against Valdosta State. You know, they were feeling themselves, and they had to make that long trip to Elizabeth City, which ain't nothing nice. If you live anywhere in any populated place in North Carolina, it's like the most remote place in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. Tuskegee? No. Jackson State did not start their starting quarterback, Mr. Morgan. Now, a lot of you are saying that the whole second team played. I saw some starters in there, but 30-0 is 30-0. They did what a ranked FCS team is supposed to do against a Division II opponent. But as you'll see, not always the situation. Mike Vick gets his first taste of a money game. Yeah. Wasn't that nice? Beat an A there, 60-10, but they got the check. Morgan State, my God. I mean, hey, at least they didn't lose as bad as Morgan State, right?
I just got an update. They said that Toledo just scored again. I don't know what's going on, but they just said Toledo just scored again. It just came to my computer.
Alone, man. You gonna leave the
Look, Cobi. Now, Cobi, you was drinking the Kool-Aid after that first game against South Alabama. I said, just wait on it. Still early. At least they got some D2s coming up. You know, we'll see if they can get it together. We do have a score on this Edward Waters, 41-38. Somebody did get it to us, but that's where it is. Edward Waters with the win. We'll talk about that in a second. Alabama A&M with a big win over Tennessee State, 23-21. TSU eked out that win against the Aggies, got slaughtered by the Bison, and Sam Shade and his guys getting busy. They are now 2 wins in a row, both of them FCS wins. Alabama State, you know that Sam Shade when he took those guys from there, that kind of set this one up. Andrew Body had a big game there, and had Morgan State. At least you didn't lose this bad. Kentucky State, much better in their matchup against the higher program. They were up till the very end on Grambling, and controversial ending. But 37-31 win for Grambling. South Carolina State, another one of these basketball scores. 55-41 over Bethune-Cookman. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Game I went to, Winston-Salem State, handled business and packed them boys on up to send them back up north. It's a cold winter. Y'all better bundle up. Fayetteville State, money game versus North Carolina Central, 49-19. Hampton snatched defeat from the jaws of victory with a 33-30 win, a 33-30 loss to North Carolina A&T, who ends a 700-day losing streak, 2 FCS opponents, and a 371-day losing streak overall. I'm sorry, guys. These are just the facts. I'm giving them to you. 56-3, Southeastern Lions decimate the Delta Devils. Rice, respectable score for Prairie View A&M, 38-17 playing up. Of course, Albany State could not take down the Rattlers, 33-25. Southern cut the check. And then we got a Thursday night game coming up. So all those scores are available on our app. So you guys can make sure that you will make sure you guys download the app. Also, make sure you guys follow us, subscribe to our podcast on Apple and Spotify, as well as a couple others. So wherever you get your podcast, look for HBCU Game Day. All right, guys, let's get back to it. Before we get in, we got a couple of these comments. Mickey Joseph and A.D. Scott need to resign out of shame if they got any pride. Hey,
Tell us how
man.
you feel.
Hey, man, look, any given Saturday, elderly grandparents attended the Grambling State Kentucky State game, but left before overtime to get home. I had to tell them GSU won after watching SWAC TV. Didn't watch SWAC TV. I got Tyler was on there calling the Jackson State Tuskegee. Israel Carey, Dr. Israel Carey, always checking in, representing Jackson State. Good win. Shout out to Mary 305 for showing up again in the chat. We appreciate you. All right. And Cobi, let's go. Let's finish out Florida. Vaughn, you had the Edward Waters Virginia Union, CIAA versus SIC rubber match, defending CIAA champions against the up and coming SIC squad over there in Duval. Classic on Edward Waters campus, and hey, Brian Jenkins does it again.
I told everybody I couldn't split myself in two. If so, I'd have been in Jacksonville and Tallahassee. But the fact that I was in Jacksonville last week and I'll be in Daytona next week to see Edward Waters play Bethune-Cookman, hint, another big game. I couldn't do 3 weeks in a row at Edward Waters and miss FAMU's home opener, so I was in Bragg. But on since HBCU Game Day was a partial sponsor of the Unity Classic, I was there Friday to host a luncheon. We're going to post some of those videos from the luncheon. It was a great weekend for the city of Jacksonville, and capped off by an amazing football game against two of the best minds in in HBCU football, period. I don't Division II, you can say that, but I think period. What Alvin Parker has been able to accomplish over the last several years, and what Brian Jenkins was able to accomplish over his career, is some of the best in HBCU football. You know, conventional wisdom was that stopping Curtis Allen, the amazing running back who came after Byers, was going to be a task for anybody. But let me tell you, once the Edward Waters Tigers focused on that, even small defensive backs were coming up. Now, Curtis got his, but you look at how they attacked him, and they were like, we got to take this away from Virginia Union. I think that was their strategy. But Coach Parker, with his brilliance, he went to other things, and he went to other running backs, and he went to other receivers. And it was just an amazing, one of the best coaching matchups. And I give props to our very own Symone Stanley, who was doing play-by-play, her first time on an ESPN broadcast doing play-by-play. It was a great game. Just kind of look at the scoring. In the first quarter, Virginia Union jumped out to 7-0. In the second quarter, Virginia Union scored again, but Edward Waters scored 14. Virginia Union got a field goal in the third quarter. Edward Waters, 14 more points. Virginia Union came back with a strong fourth quarter, scoring 21 points. And for the longest, all Edward Waters was able to muster was 10. So we had a 38-38 tie. But in the end, a field goal. Let me get his name. Got to get a kick or something when he went. Ryan Gagne hit a 35-yard field goal to seal the win of the first of the inaugural Unity Classic, but also a win for the SIAC over the CIAA. A win over the Boxer Road #1 Division II school for Brian Jenkins, who just took over this team just a couple months ago when Toriano Morgan left to go to Tennessee State. But this is certainly Brian Jenkins' team. Eric Dooley is doing a great job for him. The players have bought in tremendously. Edward Waters, I keep talking about them because they're in the range that I cover. My area of Albany, FAMU, Bethune. Edward Waters is my normal range. They just got approved. They got their highest enrollment, and they got this new giant building that's going on campus. So the one reason we're seeing the success of Edward Waters on the field is because their president, Dr. A. Zachary Faison, has said that he was going to build the visibility of the school through athletics. Well, when you see this team having this success and they have a record number of applications, I think it was like 11,000 applications. The school only has about 1,400, I think, enrollment, and you got 11,000 applications. That means the kids in Jacksonville and around that area as well are noticing this university. And it's because this football team is successful and the things that they've been able to build around sports to go with their academic programs. There's so many presidents, I say it over and over, don't understand how athletics can help how students view you. But Edward Waters has it going. Alvin Parker comes back to Johnson. I think Virginia Union will play Johnson C. Smith this week. So he has to get right back on his horse because it's a conference game. And of course, Brian Jenkins and Edward Waters will go to his old stomping ground in Daytona at Bethune-Cookman on the 20th. I will be in that stadium. I think that'll be an electric matchup. And got to give props to Noah Biden. Noah Biden led this Edward Waters team. He's found his niche. He's comfortable. Jenkins and of course Dooley, know his strengths well. It was just a great game on Saturday.
Yeah, no doubt. Good stuff there for sure. Definitely keeping an eye on Edward Waters. And yes, Johnson C. Smith and Virginia Union will play on Saturday, September 20th. But here's the rub. The game will count for Johnson C. Smith in CIAA play. It will not count for Virginia Union. Second year in a row that's happened because St. Augustine's University dropped out. And so They had gone to an 8-game schedule and 8-game conference schedule. And, they do the conference scheduling a couple years out. So basically your last 7 games count. And so very unfortunate if you're Johnson C. Smith or if you're Winston-Salem State or against Virginia State this week, you got to win, because if you don't, this is going to count as a loss for you in the conference. But it's not going to count for Virginia State or Virginia Union. So, and these are, in my eyes, these are the top 4 teams in the conference. And so it's only going to count for 2 of them, win, lose, or draw. So that's on the CIAA. That's a whole nother situation. And when we get to Wednesday, myself and K. Ferg will be on the D2 football show. We'll get more in-depth about it. I'm talking about how busted that is, but hey, it is to count for one team but not another. There's got to be a better way. Save the children.
Well, Stephen, one more thing to tell you how much of a fans game this was. Virginia Union had 358 yards of total offense. Edward Waters had 429. It was a fans game. Nobody, they just could not stop each other. And the defenses weren't playing bad. The offensive players just stepped up.
Yeah, man, you got to love it when you get your money's worth. Some people like these slobber knocker, 10-7 games, 6-3 games. And then, you got a game like that, man, you always keep fans in the stands. So definitely something good to know that they put on a good show for the folks down there in Duval. All right, so we'll go from one end of the spectrum to the other, to HBCU Game Day North over in Delaware. Got a chance to check out Delaware State. Again, it did not rain. Sunny days and sunshine. Unless you're a Bowie State fan, then they kind of came down to reality. But Cobi, give me your thoughts on the game. This is the first all HBCU matchup for DeSean Jackson. Two schools that are in the same region, even though they're in different divisions. Take it away, man. Paint the picture. Know the score, paint the picture, and and give us your thoughts.
Well, first off, I want to mention that, Steve, that's a little bit of shade in your tone. I don't know if I like your tone, but it's a little bit of shade when you talk about the North. The little shade on Bowie, and like we don't have rain up here. Sunny days up here. There's a whole lot of shade. The North remembers, brother. So I do want to get into this, man. So Delaware State got the win, but it just wasn't another Saturday win. There were some storylines and there was a lot of layers to this. And this game was interesting. And to borrow one from Jay-Z, I'm on to the next one. And that's how I felt like DeSean Jackson felt, because right after that, he had a very stern conversation with his team. And he talked about getting back to practice on Sunday or getting back to business and all those things. Now, what I want you to understand is that there was some beef before the game. Because you remember, Coach Washington, the offensive coordinator for Delaware State, used to play at Bowie. So you can hear with some chirping, it was some barking before the game. And it's interesting to see Delaware State have that kind of swag, but Bowie was not backing down. Coach Jackson wasn't backing down, and none of the players on Bowie were backing down. But on the flip side of that, Coach Washington was moving. He had them ready to play, and he had them primed. The offense produced. Caden Bennett, 11 for 18, 179 yards, 2 TDs. Philip B. Wesley and Najee Liley, 2 catches. Philip Wesley, 2 catches, 71 yards, and Najee Liley, who played running back, had 6 carries for 69 yards. They had 472 yards of offense. So you see Washington's fingerprints all over this game. But despite the fireworks, brothers, there were 16 penalties for 153 yards. Coach Jackson was upset, and he noted in the press conference, we got to play complimentary football, and we can't make those kind of mistakes, especially when we get in the conference play. And then Bowie State didn't just lay down. Micah Robinson had 15 carries for 92 yards with 152-yard scamper. So, Delaware State played well, but their penalties killed them. Penalties killed them. And that's why Coach Jackson said this game was bittersweet. He said they should have scored 50 in the first half. So now their defense helped out a little bit. You know, they had a safety, a fumble recovery, and a big sack. But I just want you to know that Bowie was fighting back, and Bowie did not just lay down. They also had a lot of penalties. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't say they laid down, man. Look, I know Bowie State. They're not gonna lay down. They're gonna fight.
Yeah,
it's overmatched.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I'm expecting to see big things. I know you said the top 4, and you mentioned Winston-Salem, but they have to play Bowie. And I'm telling you, Bowie looks like they're going to be able to play football with almost anybody because they didn't.
And that game is going to be in Bowie, isn't it?
Yeah, and we coming. It might be more Rams than Bulldogs. We coming. We taking buses.
I don't think so.
We taking buses.
I'm not even arguing with you. I'm not even going there.
Which one of y'all have been to a WSSU Bowie game before?
Me?
No, you at Bowie. Yeah, right. No, you have
at Bowie.
When?
About 2-3 years ago when they had the playoff run with Dana Wilson.
They haven't played them there since 2018, bro.
Then maybe I didn't. I know I was at a game. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, they got.
See that pettiness? I don't got time for it. I don't got time for Steve and his pettiness. I'm gonna go back to Coach Jackson, and when I say Jackson, I mean DeSean Jackson, not Kyle Jackson this time. DeSean Jackson, Coach Jackson, and he stated that this new era is real, but everyone, coaches, players, fans, has to uphold the standard. Now there was something weird happening, so they moved. So I was confused for a minute. I thought Bowie State brought more fans than Delaware State, honestly. But they moved the student section to behind the opponent's benches, right? Which gave you this misconstrued view of the game. So they got the grandstand on the fan side, on the team side, and then they got the visitor side. They moved the student section. So that looked full, while behind the team players, it didn't look as full. So initially, I thought Bowie brought more fans than Del State, but they had to get somebody to clear that up for me. Because that's the one thing that Delaware hasn't done in a long time. Delaware State, hasn't done in a long time. Is have a big crowds, big fans to support their team. And I'm telling you, the energy that the team comes with. Now, if they don't get rid of those penalties, Delaware State is just going to be Delaware State. But I'm telling you, if they get rid of that and get a little bit more discipline, and he gets that under pressure, Delaware State could play with anybody in the MEAC. And I'll say that right now. I'm standing 10 toes down. And if anybody got something to say about the North, they need to say it with their chest. But I'm going to ask one question. Hornet Nation.
On your shoulder, it's about to fall off. It's about to knock you over in your chair.
It's all good. Hornet Nation, do you stand with Coach Jackson and his tough love? That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know.
Man, y'all North brothers kill me. See, Lincoln came over there with that attitude last night, thinking they was gonna push WSSU around, and they got sent back with a 50-piece. So,
bro, I'm not even going there with you. You talking about Lincoln? Now, I'm from Pennsylvania, and I love Lincoln. Bro, they don't even got the same thing going on.
Lincoln is like.
I didn't say that this year, bro. I did not say that. See, Steve, calm down. Bring it down.
I'm calm, brother. You the one rocking.
No, I'm just telling you. I'm telling you that they're gonna be able to play. They're gonna be physical. They're a big team, and they got weapons all over. I even had a Cobi Boykin sighting. This weekend they got Najee Liley, they got Marquise Gillis in the backfield. They got some explosive receivers. I'm telling you, and Caden Bennett is the truth. You can laugh now, and they got a big linebacker, number 0. I'm telling you. You can laugh now. Now, their secondary got questions. But if you ain't a passing team, they're going to hurt you.
Okay. We shall see. Obviously, my guy's passionate about the North. Another guy who is passionate about the North, I don't even know if he was as passionately defended as my brother over here. Let's hear from the guy. This is Coach. When he says Coach Jackson, this is who he's talking about. Let's go to it.
See, that's what happens when you got brothers from the South working the board.
Point in time where we
Look
can't
at you,
continue to
man,
make those
hating
mistakes and keep
ass.
affecting us. So, we're harping on that. We preach on that every day in practice, and we just got to do a better job. I got to do a better job of continuously making sure they understand the standard. And I'm reiterating that every opportunity, every chance we get. But it's just this young era, man. These young guys nowadays, I guess they just feel like they're arrived and they've made it. But it's still a lot of things we still need to accomplish in order for us to hold that trophy up at the end of the season. Man, we got to clean up those little things.
You were mentioning that this team last week. You said that you felt like there were some things that you still need to clean up with regards to penalties, and that you weren't going to blame the officials and different things of that nature. Just how frustrating is it to know you go through these things with these guys week after week in practice, and Saturday is still the same thing.
It's extremely frustrating, man. I can't continue to allow, those mistakes as a head coach. Even in my playing career, the coaches that I respected and, had a great relationship, always preached and praised, complimentary football and doing the things you need to do because it's hard enough to win, and Division I football and football in general is hard enough to win, right? So when you're, continuously making bonehead mistakes, putting your mind in however you're feeling in that moment, against the team is not good ball, right? And, like I said, at the end of the day, the referees call what they call, right? So it's just being in every game, we've always been the most penalized team on both sides, right? So, at this point, it's like we're going to have to deal with what we got to deal with. But I know as a head coach, what I'm preaching and what I'm praising to my guys, that it's definitely unacceptable.
Talk about the running game. You were able to get these three guys 50 yards or more. Just how important was it to establish that part of the running game against Vaughn?
Yeah, man. In my eyes, I thought Bowie was going to be a tough opponent to come out and play hard. Watching film, I just didn't think they should be able to compete with us at all. I feel like we was the better team, but I knew it was still going to have to go out on the field and prove it.
Hey, Cobi, you gonna fight him because he said that?
Nah, because what he said was right. A lot of the things that you're talking about at this team that's holding them back, even against, you look at the game at UD, right? University of Delaware, and you look at the game against Albany, the things that lost them the game at UD were the penalties and unsportsmanlike, and things that kept the game close against Albany were the same things. And he's holding everybody to a standard. It was some things going on the sideline. He wants the AD, the equipment manager, the fans, and the other coaches to have a standard of excellence. And this is very contrary to what everybody thought he would be as a coach. People, whispers, everything.
It's amazing to see DeSean Jackson sounding like the adult in the room, just with his happy-go-lucky way that he played. And now that he's transformed into a responsible adult, that's just amazing to see.
Yeah. I told y'all that when I seen the first practice, even at the camp, how he's carrying himself, the things that you don't see. He's very family oriented. You know what I mean? And that trickles down to everything. But he lets kids be who they are within the bumpers and boundaries of his high expectations. And if they can't manage that, and that's just like him. If you look at him, people can judge or say what you want. He's who he is within certain boundaries, and he's not going to change who he is for anyone. But he's going to operate with a level of professionalism. I mean, he drove over to the press conference by himself, not a big entourage. He came, sat down there without a whole bunch of stuff. He answered all the questions when it was time and focused on every single question that was asked. And then when it was over, he got up and left. What more can you ask for?
Okay. I hear you. We shall see. See.
There we go to shadiness. You see, he slipped the shadiness back in.
How did I slip the shade? I said we'll see, and we will see.
Okay.
Man, don't be rapping been over here, man. Come on now.
SJG, I got another interview coming up real soon, so I'm gonna jump off. But I had to pull out some of the stash.
Wow.
Y'all don't know nothing about this opening up cover right there. There's some Tribe Called Quest.
See, I can't go band
This
for
guy
band.
one right here.
Now,
by
I do got
Stevie
that.
Wonder.
I do
Songs
got
in
that.
the life.
The classic
I
of
can't
classics.
go band for band with a DJ. Come on now. Come on.
Josh gonna pull up some MP3s in a minute.
Right. I'm giving him some visuals to go pull these up.
Nah, he gonna show us his playlist.
And then I got the last one.
Nah.
I'm gonna leave with this one here. Keith Sweat.
That's
All right,
gonna
guys,
sound.
it's been a pleasure. I gotta get to work for HBCU game day. You know they don't play. They have you working multiple things at one time. And I got a big interview coming up in just a couple minutes, so I'm gonna hop off and get that. It's with Brian Jenkins, and y'all will see that a little bit later on HBCU game day.
Appreciate you as always, Vaughn.
All right.
Good stuff. All right. So we come back down south to the birthplace of Black college football, the great state of North Carolina. And we come down to 336, but not Guilford County. We're going to Forsyth County first. We're going to the Trefo. All right. So Winston-Salem State. I was at this game. Winston-Salem State versus Lincoln. Home opener. So it was a lot of excitement last year. Winston-Salem State led CIAA in attendance. I think top 6 in D2. So a lot of excitement last year, 7-3. This year they came in 1-1. And is that mine? Is that what is that? Did y'all hear that?
Yeah, we hear.
Okay. Live video. So let's see. So anyway, I'll drop my video. So they had a new thing, right? We used a little bit of atmosphere besides the stats. You can see the stats. It was a blowout game, but you can also get the ambiance of what was going on. So first off, I got a little something right here where there was a kid zone, but I was trying it out for my daughter. That is what I'm going with right now. I was trying out my daughter, so. Hold on, let me see. There's some music. Yeah, let's see.
Josh, see? Oh, this is hilarious.
Right.
So, Josh, how did Freeman look?
Hold on, wait. We ain't got that part. Holler in the comments.
Oh, you ready? All right.
Holler at the comments. We got some.
Let me see. We got Stephen Campbell. Young boys don't know nothing about that. I ain't gonna lie. I'm 25 years old, but I came in on the back end of the whole like disc and stuff like that. You want to actually know what's crazy? My papa is actually a DJ. My pops is actually a DJ. He's a DJ. So I came up listening to music like that. He do got one of his old disc players. So when you take the little record and you put it on the thing, he do got one of the old ones. I don't know where he got with it now, but he do have one. So I do
probably
know
got 45s.
Finna say, I know. Hold on, give me 1 second. Hold on.
Now I'm gonna say this to you though. I do believe DeSean Jackson's next recruiting class is gonna be crazy. He's really like, I don't want to sound too high on it. It's coming up. His next recruiting class is gonna be crazy. And we just hope that he stays, because if he has a good season with the way things are happening now, people need people to turn around. We just hope he can stay focused and get everything and turn that ship around. Because from 1-11, and they get to 5-6 or 6-5, that's a lot of work. So
I got 10,
and I'm grooving to this music, but also like Virginia Union, they're going to be tough, and they got to play JCSU next week. That's going to be interesting for a CIAA matchup. But this also has big components in the playoff thing, because now Edward Waters has a big notch on their belt when you're talking about getting into the playoffs and where they're possibly going to be ranked. So this run, and this is going to be interesting. Virginia Union, Winston-Salem State, Virginia State. Bowie is determining to play the spoiler. I'm excited about to see these teams really rock and roll, especially in the North. And yes, Morgan took a lump, but I take it as a lump. I think they'll be able to play with anybody in the MEAC.
No, I think they'll be straight. I think Morgan is definitely going to be a competitor in the MEAC, even though they did take a lump and they haven't really looked too great offensively. I still think that Morgan is one of those teams that's always going to be technically sound whenever the MEAC play comes around, because they always take them lumps out of conference in the early season, and by the time the season comes, they normally clean it up. Even though it hasn't resulted to a lot of wins, I think that a lot of wins haven't came from because of the offensive side of the ball, as we've seen the past couple of years, and as we see right now in the NFL, Elijah Williams is dominating and doing a very good job in the NFL. So they've always had the defense to go with it. They just need to find that offense that can combat with them to actually be competitive in the MEAC. Now, I personally think the Virginia Union game is going to be a big game coming up this week with Smith.
Johnson C. Smith.
Yeah, with Smith, because Johnson C. Smith just took a very close, sneaky win versus Elizabeth City State, which is, I don't know how to grade it because I haven't really looked into it too much. So it's like, is Elizabeth City State going to be a sleeper team out of the CIAA? Because they're giving these MEAC teams and these CAA teams a run for their money. They gave Hampton a run for their money, even though Hampton just took a loss to A&T, but they gave them a run for their money. The CIAA preseason number 2 team was Johnson C. Smith. They gave them a run for their money. So it's like, hey, maybe Elizabeth City is over there in the woods of the woods is probably cooking up something over there, because if you're in North Carolina, then you know Elizabeth City State is in the woods of the woods.
Yeah, and if you remember, or one of the things Adrian Jones talked about is they don't got nothing to concentrate on but school and football. And he's an experienced coach. He's experienced in the CIAA. And then, like, Johnson C. Smith beat Valdosta, but that's a Valdosta team that is rebuilding because their coach left and took a lot of players. So it's going to be interesting to see how much was that Valdosta win worth.
True.
You know what I mean? And when they travel, and then Edward Waters is a quality team that we're going to see. And now we're going to look to see what Virginia Union really has after these 2 tests, because they played a good game. Defense gave up those last scores. And so, you know, I'm liking my VA to PA teams. I know I'm getting a lot of hate from North Carolina on down, but I like my VA to PA teams. Yeah, we got a couple Lincolns in our group right now, but we'll see. You got Virginia State, who's going to be tough. I don't know what else to tell you. Howard, Howard's going Howard.
Howard is definitely going to Howard. They got a good matchup coming up this week.
And didn't I tell you that?
Yes, you said that before. But did I predict the MEAC championship that year? Did I predict that?
I just told you Howard is going to Howard, and that's pretty consistently true, except for that 1 year.
Yeah, but I still think that they have the capabilities. They just got to put those things together. Because right now, North Carolina Central's QB isn't playing as well as we thought he should so far. Hoping he comes around. South Carolina State is balling, but they're not looking as powerful as they were before. And they played Delaware State at last game of the season, I believe it is, in Dover. And by that time, I guarantee you there's going to be momentum around Delaware State.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
That game has a lot of implications on it. I think the true game that has a lot of implications on it is that North Carolina Central Delaware State game, because if I'm not mistaken, that game is played in North Carolina and it's during Central's homecoming. So that game was a sleeper game to me.
Delaware State's defense can travel. They're big, physical. Only thing I'm worried about is their secondary.
I was just going to say that. It looks like, but the thing is with Central, they're looking, their offenses ran through Walker Harris, but they truly want to run the ball. If they can open it up with Chris Mosley and run the ball.
You go look at the stats. If you go look at the stats, except for this last game where because in the second quarter they had a lot of the backups in. But the kid had 92 yards. One of them was 52 yards. So he had 11 rushes for 40 yards. You know, so I'm telling you, if he gets it together, what we got to hope is that he can build the momentum and the team doesn't fall apart if they run into some bad stuff. But I'm looking for them. And so it's going to be exciting to see. And I'm going to tell you, I do think ECSU is going to be a surprise. They're going to catch a couple people sleeping.
They're gonna catch somebody sleeping. They're gonna catch. I don't want to say it, but they could catch Winston.
Do they play Winston-Salem at home?
No, they don't play us.
Oh, okay.
They don't play. Stop wishing on your well. No, they play Union and they play State though, and they did beat Virginia State 2 years ago when they were undefeated. If you remember that. So
I remember.
Yeah. So it's definitely gonna be interesting to see for sure.
Because that was the year Fayetteville and Union went to it, right? It was Fayetteville and Union in the championship.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, because it was supposed to be. Well, it would have been VSU, but VSU had lost to Union, and then they had lost to Elizabeth City, so that messed them up.
Yeah, it was a whole different situation and setup then. You guys are watching the HBCU game day, so let's go ahead and go to Josh's game. Talk to us really quick about. We'll talk to us. We'll check the highlights and then we'll get into what happened and with the fans leaving and the fans that did stay, where they got a chance to see. All right.
Graves on the keeper, a pickup of. To number 7, DeSean Jackson. It is a 32-yard touchdown pass. Nelson Lane on the keeper. Jason. On the keeper. Stop me. By number 24.
So Josh, tell us what just happened there. Tell us at that point, is that when they went up 20-10?
Yeah, so that's whenever they had went up 20-10. So then after that, the A&T had the ball with like 50 seconds left. And I'm over there grabbing my wide lens to go get the handshake, the post-game handshake. And it's probably the fourth quarter with like 10 minutes left after that touchdown. It was just a whole bunch of defense, whole bunch of punting. Hampton just started running the ball. So I'm like, okay, the game's over. It's 50 seconds left. A&T is at like the 50-yard line. I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and grab my other lens. It's third down. A&T throws up a prayer, catches it. Now all of a sudden A&T is down by 3. So I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on? If you want to play what happens in overtime, you can see what happens on the in the second overtime if you want to continue playing. 2 overtimes, by the way. Took 2 overtimes.
Now we see where people were talking about everybody leaving. That was 15K, right?
It was about like 500 at that point. As y'all can see, it was super chaotic. Super chaotic. It was so much going on. I didn't know what to do. I just said, I'm going to just stay on him the whole time. I didn't want to go nowhere else. I said, I'm going to just stay on him the whole time. And as you guys can see, it paid off. It paid off.
And, shout out to Coach Gibbs for getting his first win. Congratulations. I was over at the press conference on Monday when we were getting that medical report. And that's what it was. It was straight up ER. They were given 3 quarterbacks they lost to Central Florida. You hear the elevator music now. It felt like you were going to visit somebody sick and shut in. But credit to them, they were on. I think they started with their 6th quarterback, and then they ended up with their 7th.
No, 6. Yeah, they're 6. So basically, going into the game, they were down to their 6th or 7th quarterback. I cannot remember, but I'm pretty sure it was their 6th. They started off with their 6th-string quarterback. I actually have his name right here. His name was Nelson Lane. Freshman from Highland Springs, Virginia. And so the North, talking about the North, he's from the North. He started off with him, and the offense was moving.
Barely.
The offense was moving, but it wasn't moving as consistently as they would like it to be. But A&T, as you can see, Coach Gibbs, he talks about it a lot. Going to get back to fried chicken. If you don't know what that means at A&T, I learned what it means real quick. Keep it plain and simple, run the ball. That's what they're going to do. They're going to run the ball. That's what they did. Wesley Graves, as you guys see on that game when a touchdown, had a huge impact on the entire game. They had a very good, sound running game that Hampton just found the answers for, but they couldn't consistently find the answers for. So game's going well, and it was all knotted up at 10 at halftime. Then after halftime, as you guys seen in the clip, as me and Cobi was going to talk about earlier, Zay, the quarterback that transferred from Lincoln, was doing anything he wanted the whole night. Like, he was making the throws on third down whenever they needed. He was using his legs, escaping the pocket, breaking contains whenever he needed. A lot of QB runs, a lot of QB powers, a lot of QB options, putting the ball in his hands, making him make a decision, making the defense make a decision. And he made all the right reads into the end of the game, which some people say that it's not his fault because A&T scored, like I stated, A&T scored with 56 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Then they went on to kick an onside kick. They got the onside kick. I don't know what happened on the onside kick. If you want to go watch it, the full game highlights is on YouTube, on our YouTube at HBCU Game Day. The full game highlights is up there. You can see I got a great shot of it. One of the receivers from Hampton just seen the ball go over his head and just let it go. Like, he just let it, like, it was already past 10 yards, and he just didn't do anything to get the ball at all. So A&T gets the ball off the onside kick. They come down. They wanted to score. Coach Gibbs talked about it in the post-game press conference. He really wanted to score and end the game right there. But he said that he knew he had a great kicker. And I asked him, I said, hey, like, even though you knew you had a great kicker, like, was you nervous about what just happened at Tennessee State? Because at Tennessee State, kind of in the same situation, had to march all the way down the field, got down the field, got the field goal blocked. have a chance to go into OT. He was like, nah, I wasn't discouraged at all. Like, I knew it wasn't his fault. Like, you know, they made a great play and blocked the kick. If they didn't block it, I was 100% guaranteed sure that he was going to make it. And that's what happened. They made the kick. We're going to OT. And at this time, as you guys see in the video, bro, it was maybe if the starting attendance was 15,000, it was maybe 500 people in the stands left. Like, the whole home side was gone. And like, the only reason why it looked like it was a lot of people there is because of the band. The bands were still there. So it was like the student section completely gone. The student section completely gone. The student section was 1,000% gone. They was out of there. They was ready to get back to the park. Now the alumni fan section, they was still there. They was hanging out. Some of the away fans, they were still over there. They was hanging out. But the fans really didn't leave. And even though Coach Gibbs talked about it in the press conference, because somebody asked, how do you feel about the fans leaving? Coach Gibbs, like, generally said, you know, I understand how it be. He talked about how him and his wife go to football games, and his wife wants him to leave early. And he was saying that maybe some other guys, some husbands that were out there, some wives were ready to go, and they had no other option but to leave. So he was like, I'm not really tripping about it. But I was on the field after the game, and I'm telling you this right now, them boys were mad that they left. Whenever they was running to the office, I was filming right there at the alma mater. He was like, some of the players walked by. I ain't gonna say exactly what was said, but they said, forget those people that left anyway. I'm gonna just keep it short. Coach Gibbs didn't say that, but the players were walking by, like, seriously upset that the fans had just gave up on them. And he was in press conference, and we all have a quick interview that we did with Coach Gibbs right on the field, on the spot, after the game on the channel. He talked about how the win was important for him, but he wanted it for the team. He was very serious and very animated about how excited he was about the team winning. He cared about him getting his first win, but he stated multiple times, this team hasn't won in a long time. It's been a long time. They deserve this. Somebody even asked, like, how do you go about handling North Carolina Central this week? He was like, man, listen, these kids ain't won in almost 2-3 years. They haven't won in, it's like Steve times, but they haven't won in a very long time. So Gibbs was like, hey, like, I'm gonna let them celebrate this win because they deserved it, they earned it, and I'm gonna let them go out and have fun tonight because they earned this win. Like, it was a tough, hard fought win. It went to double overtime. It was an amazing game.
Yeah, it looked like the folks that were there, they got a show. You know, and yes, guys, the music has just become a part of the show. It's insidious at this point. So, but you know, maybe it kind of fits the mood of the people that left. Because, you know, now I will say, now when did it, okay, it's important. When did they start leaving? Because
they started. So whenever because I noticed it, because the thing was last year to leave after halftime after the band performs. That was the thing last year. This year, some fans actually stayed around a little bit longer. I'll say they really left whenever Hampton went up 20-10 in the fourth quarter, and there was about like 10 minutes left still in the fourth quarter. That's whenever fans left, and then whenever the fans really turned around and looked, I'm like, oh God, everybody's really gone. Is whenever it was just Hampton just kept running the ball, because at that point Hampton was just trying to get out the game. They're just running the ball. They just wanted to get out the game. And A&T couldn't really move the ball. They were trying to throw the ball down the field. It wasn't working. They were trying to run screens. It wasn't working. Wesley Graves was trying his hardest to make holes, but at that point Hampton already knew you're on your 7th string quarterback. You know, I'm not worried about anything down the field. You haven't threatened us all game, so it's like I'm not really worried. So Hampton had clamped down on the run. And so at that point, to be honest, like I stated, I was grabbing my other lens. I thought the game was over myself. I genuinely thought the game was over myself. Then as soon as I'm grabbing my other lens, I see the ball in the air. I'm like, oh my God. And they scored. I'm like, oh wow, that's crazy. And so whenever they scored, I'm like, let me lock in real quick, because if they get this onside kick, this can get very interesting. They got the onside kick, and that's whenever I was like, oh gosh. I turn around and I'm looking through the stands. I'm like, dang, everybody's really gone. But I still see people that were there. Now, let me say this though. even though the players and Coach Gibbs on the field, I keep saying on the field because on the field he felt the way, and the press conference he felt a different way. But on the field, he did state multiple times, I really do love the fact the people that stayed, I really do appreciate them. He said it multiple times. The players said it multiple times. Everybody that stayed, we really do appreciate y'all because that is real Aggie pride. I'm really appreciative of everybody that stayed and everybody that left. I could tell that them players felt the way about that. They definitely had some feelings about that. But I'm glad that the people that did stay got a game that they enjoyed because now it just makes it even more better for next week. Now, next week is going to be an amazing, amazing game. Gotta have a faith of a mustard seed, most definitely. But I ain't gonna see my dog at that point in the game, 50 seconds left. I ain't gonna say I ain't had faith, but it just wasn't. I haven't seen anything in the past 10 minutes that looked like, oh yeah, they were gonna come back and win the game. Now, when they went to OT, I thought that they were gonna win. You can literally ask any of us in the group chat. I literally text in the chat, game's going to OT. NCAT's going to win this game. I literally said it. I knew it. As soon as I went to OT, I knew they were going to win the game.
Do you have any funny clock business this game? Was the clock operating? Was there any clock problems this time?
No, it wasn't like Winston-Salem State. And whenever there was other stuff going on, no, everything was fine. And Steve, can you please full screen? The rest of the content creators that are at you institutions. From the bottom of all of our heart, we would really love if y'all will let us do our jobs. I can guarantee and promise you, we do not want to go inside the players' box. We don't want to stop and film the players and the coaches. We don't want to do that. Okay? Whatever you guys are asking us, who are we filming for? 9 times out of 10, we already spoke to the athletic director, the SID. We had to go through TSA to get this media credentials in the first place. So if we're here and we are credentialed, we are very well, what's the word I'm looking for? We are very well qualified to be out here because it takes a lot to get credentials for the games anyways, especially at the illustrious North Carolina A&T, to where you have to go through TSA to get into the games yourself as media. So what I want to say from the game day staff, me personally, and from all the other content creators that are out there covering you guys games at these HBCU institutions, we are not trying to be in no player's way. We don't want to be all up in the players' field on this. We just want to travel from one side of the field to the other side of the field. A lot of these times, whenever we're going to places, y'all have the sidelines barricaded. We can't really go that far. We don't want to go outside the stadium to have to get to the other side of the field. And then whenever it happens so quick, we have to run and sprint to get to the other side. So yes, sometimes we may run on the edge of the player's box. Sometimes we will go all the way around, but we won't ever stop and try to talk to the players. We don't want to do that. Okay. So once again, from me, the game day staff, other content creators that go and film at these HBCU institutions, to all the operation managers, to all the sideline warriors, I promise you from the bottom of our hearts, it would do us all a favor if you would just let us do our jobs. Thank you. I'm sick of it.
The doors of the church are now open. The doors of the church are open. Yeah, shout out to Josh for giving us that inside insight. Yeah, guys, I apologize for the unplanned elevator music, but I think it's a different little touch. We'll be back next time. Will it not? Who knows? Relax, man. It's all right. Look, man, well, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Thank you guys so much. Please make sure that you guys download the HBCU Game Day app and download and subscribe to the podcast. We got Teddy Keaton Show coming up this week. We got the D2 HBCU football show. Symone will be back in the lab again, doing their podcast as well. And, again, check out the packages and highlights that these guys shot and everything else that we got going on. I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. Cobi and Josh and the music. Peace.